book review time, and I'm very happy today to be reviewing a book by one of my favorite authors, Jackson Pearce. And our newest book is Code Spell, which is a part of a series that she's been writing that's loosely based on fairy tales. This is the fourth book, and I believe the last book she's planning to do in this series. The first book was Sisters Red, which is loosely based on Little Red Riding Hood. Then you have Sweetly by Hansel and Gretel. And my favorite book in the series, Fathomless, which is based on The Little Mermaid. And Code Spell is based on the Snow Queen. The Snow Queen is actually the only one of these fairy tales that I was not familiar with, so it was kind of interesting reading the book in that regard because I didn't know much about the source material. One thing I really enjoyed about what Jackson Pearce did with this series is that she honored the source material, but at the same time she made the story her own and original. Sometimes when authors are basing a story on some famous work of literature or a fairy tale, you almost feel like they just kind of slightly change the words a little bit, but it's not really that much different from the original story. Jackson Pearce did not do this. She very much honors the source material, but she really does make the story her own and original, and I think she did an awesome job of that in this series. The other thing that's unique about the series is that it really is kind of more set in one world and not necessarily a connection of books. I'm not sure if I explained that well. Let me try that again. So instead of having one character throughout all the books, you don't have that. You have, the characters in book 1 are related to the characters in book 3. You might have a cousin or a brother or a sibling, throughout the books. And the stories are loosely connected, but there's not like one action item goes to the next book. It's kind of hard to explain. The best way to explain it is actually something Jackson Pearce posted on her Twitter account. She kind of posted this chart to show the connection of all the characters throughout all the books. And to kind of give you an example, the characters in book 1 live in the same apartment building as the characters in book 4. You have this one family that every book there's like one character from that family that's in each book. So you have little loose stuff like that, and it's set in the same world. So you have, very loosely connection of story points, but you very much could read these as standalone novels. My one exception to that is actually Code Spell. I think you really do need to read the third book in the series, Fathomless, before you read Code Spell. These are the two books that are most, plot-wise connected the most, and I'm not sure if you'll understand all the references in Code Spell if you don't read Fathomless first. Now, of course, I loved all the books. I would say read all 4. If you can only read one, read Fathomless. It is my favorite. But it's a great series, so I encourage you to read all 4. The plot of Code Spell is set around a boy and a girl, teenagers, Kai and Jenny. They have grown up in the same apartment building their entire life, grew up as best friends as little kids, and as they got older, they developed into a boyfriend-girlfriend. They're one of those couples that their entire world revolves around each other. They know everything about each other. They finish each other's sentences. They have all the same interests. They have their entire life planned out with each other. Everything seems to be going perfectly for them until this mysterious woman shows up that has this tremendous power over Kai. And before Jenny really knows what's happening, Kai has left town with her, and her entire world just kind of crumbles apart her. And really the rest of the book is her trying to get Kai back. And through some research, she basically discovers this mysterious figure called the Snow Queen, who has power over young men and is able to make them go off with her. So she's trying to track down the Snow Queen and figure out if she can get Kai back. So it has a supernatural element. There's werewolves in it. That's one constant throughout the series. There's werewolves throughout all 4 books. And Jackson Pearce does a great job of kind of developing, the rules and the lore for werewolves in the world that this book series is set. She developed some interesting concepts for werewolves that I haven't really seen explored in other works of TV, movie, or literature, so that was kind of interesting. The book was very interesting. Like I said, since I wasn't very familiar with the Snow Queen, I did not really know what to expect with the plot, so I was very interested to see how it developed. I'm not sure how much it relates to the fairy tale since I haven't read the original one. Like I said, from my basis of what the other books were like, I'm sure she just honored the source material but very much made the story on her own. So I don't really think you have to be familiar with the fairy tale to read these books. Excellent book if you enjoy great YA fiction. If you enjoy stuff, I would say, like Divergent or The Maze Runner, Hunger Games, Harry Potter, stuff like that, I think you'll enjoy the books of Jackson Pearce. She's never quite got as much attention as some other YA authors. I'm not sure why, because her works are really, really interesting and unique. So I'd strongly encourage you to check out The Cold Spell. I really would encourage you to check out all her books. And I've actually done reviews for all her books, and I've been lucky enough to, in the past, to attend a couple of her book release parties for some of her books, where she talked about her inspirations behind these books. So I'll also put the links to those in the description box below. So check those out. Hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you will check out the books of Jackson Pearce, including Code Spell. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you the next time.